Hello, my name's Noel Brady. I'm an artist and a sculptor. This is my studio. Please come in. Okay, so a little bit about myself. I was born in Ballarat way back last century. But yeah, I was born and bred in Ballarat, went to primary school, secondary school, and then I decided to go on to art school, which was the Ballarat School of Mines and Industries, now called the Federation University, I believe. So I went there for a few years, and then in 1967 I got called up for national service. So I did Puckapunyal, Ingleburn, Singleton, and eventually Vietnam. So in 1969, when I got out of the army, I went back to art school to complete my Diploma of Art. After that, I went 12 months in Melbourne at Hawthorn Teachers College. After that, I got posted back to Ballarat to a school, Ballarat North Technical School, and I taught there for 11 years. In about 1983, we decided to to go up to Queensland, and I took up a position at the newly built Emmaus College in Rockhampton, and I taught there for 20 years. In 2001, I had a few health issues. I had bowel cancer and I had bladder cancer, and I sort of went back teaching a little bit part-time, but after that I thought, no, I'm out of here. So I retired in 2004 to concentrate on my own artworks. Okay, so throughout 30 odd years of teaching, most art teachers will tell you that you don't get much time to do your own artwork. But fortunately, I used to draw a lot, as I said. And over those 30 odd years, all the little tiny drawings and sketches and thumbnails I used to keep and collect and put them into a book of some sort, or just keep hundreds of them. And so those, I've got about, 6 or 8 books now, full of little ideas. And so when I retired, that was my source. I used to come into the studio, go to one of these books, start flicking through the pages, and then one of those ideas deserved a little bit of further attention. And that's basically where I got all my ideas recently from. After I retired, I started doing some wood carving, basic wood carving, starting off with chainsaws, mallets, hammers, chisels, and then the little Arbortech wheels on the angle grinder. And I started off making guitar-shaped things, but after a while I got a bit bored with just the wood, and about the same time somebody had given me an old piano. And I just proceeded, as I do, looking for detail, to pull the piano to pieces. And lo and behold, I find all of these little things inside, all these hundreds of little tiny pieces. So I started embellishing some of my sculptures with these things, using them to decorate the fretboard of the guitar or mandolin or whatever it was. So I made quite a lot of those, made 10 or 15 sculptures with piano pieces. But then getting involved in the Little Emu Park Art Gallery down here, which was very, very small, I couldn't put 3D sculptures in the middle of the room. So I had to think outside the box, or think outside the room, and I decided to start making these wooden things, but they were wooden panels that went on the wall. And so for 3 or 4 years perhaps, I started making wood panels that were primarily made of all these little bits and pieces that I find in pianos, which I still find fascinating. I think that after tearing apart about 17 or 18 pianos, I sort of got, I'm a bit over piano pieces, although I still love my little piano bits. And I guess that just led into my interest in the steampunk movement, if you like to call it that. And so I started making some weird little carriages, fish that had cogs and wheels and things on them. And I just loved getting some of these little cogs and bits and pieces and assemblage in a steampunk fashion, tubes and pipes and whatever. Over here I have some bits and pieces that I often refer to. So over here is some of the work that I've been doing recently. I was involved in an art residency at home program for the month of May, and it was all to do with the coronavirus pandemic that we are all in the middle of. So these are supposed to be my response to COVID-19, and these are taking the shape or the form of burial urns. I know it's a little bit morbid, but I think if anything gets the idea of the tragedy of the COVID stuff, burial urns would. So these are, some are specific, some of these that's just a global one. This is about China. There's one over there that focuses on the situation in India. Others are just generic sort of things, just general burial urns that might have granddad or something like that put on top. But yeah, at the moment they're all sort of interchangeable. This one could go on there, or it could go on here, or I don't know. So they're just experiments. They're not really pottery. I look upon them as sculptural ceramics, and in that sense they are sort of assemblages, because they will be cemented or glued on or laced together or somehow in the finish. So they'll be all put together to form the final piece. Okay, so for the next few months I guess I'll be trying to finish off the burial urns. I hope to have an exhibition of all the stuff hopefully next year. And once I've finished that, I wanted just to continue on experimenting with pit firing and glazes and getting back into pottery and ceramics. So maybe you'll see some up on Facebook or on a website or something or other. I do have a website if you're interested in seeing some of my other earlier works. But yeah, that's about where I'm heading. That's where I've been and what I've been up to. And thank you very much for calling in and having a look around my studio. So thanks again.